welcome to episode 511 of Cinematary. I'm your host, Zach Dennis, and I'm here with.
Alison Swafford.
Michael O'Malley.
And today, we're going to be continuing our Patreon Picks series with 1997's Dante's Peak.
Thanks, Tyler.
Tyler's back on it, man. He let his wife Amanda pick Salt, and that really let us down. But, Air Force One, The Core, Dante's Peak's right in that.
Salt really does seem like the Patreon pick of someone who would be married to Tyler Chandler, though.
That's true. Love you, Amanda. Well, we got a ton of movies to talk about in part one beforehand. Let's start. I'm going to talk about a couple, and then I'm going to toss it over to y'all.
Yeah.
The first movie I wanted to talk about is High Noon.
New
great
release.
movie.
Wow.
It's new release. It just came out. Gary Cooper's still alive, y'all.
Whatever happened to Gary Cooper?
I just finished Glenn Frankel's book about High Noon. I wish the timer would allow me to do this. High Noon, The Hollywood Blacklist and the Making of an American Classic by Glenn Frankel. Very good. This is the second of his books that I've read. The Searchers book that I read before was really good. I think I like this one better, or I really like that one better. But High Noon's still interesting. He mainly focuses on the kind of main apparatus of High Noon, which is writer Carl Foreman, star Gary Cooper, and director Fred Zinnemann. Well, the real focus on Foreman, who was called in front of HUAC during the filming of the movie, and then at the tail end, the production was mutually agreed to leave the production with Stanley Kramer, and so this movie goes on to be extremely popular, wins a bunch of awards. It's pretty obvious that he didn't win that they didn't give it best screenplay because they didn't want to give him an award at that time. I forgot what they said.
I'll look it up while you're talking. Go ahead.
Yeah. But for those unfamiliar with the story of High Noon, it follows Gary Cooper, who, what was his name again? But Gary Cooper's the sheriff of this small town. He has just married Grace Kelly, the lucky bastard. He is U.S. Marshal Will Kane. He's just married Grace Kelly. She's a Quaker. He's gonna, give up the law enforcement life and go and run a store with her. But unfortunately, at the same time, Frank Miller, who is this notorious kind of gangster outlaw in town. He was, tearing the town up before Gary Cooper got there, and Gary Cooper famously, got him arrested. They thought he was going to go away for life in prison, but he has been paroled, and in 1 hour he will be showing up in the town to, have his revenge against Will Kane. And then
to a Vincente Minnelli movie called The Bad and the Beautiful, by the way.
Also lost was The Quiet Man and The Man in the White Suit. Boy, they really whiffed on that Academy Award.
But it's great. It takes place over about 85 minutes as once you kind of hit the once you get about 15 minutes in or so, or like you hit a point where it's like it's going in real time. And Gary Cooper's going from house to house, shop to shop, the church, trying to round up a posse of people to help him fight Frank Miller. He asks his other deputy, who's played by Lloyd Bridges, father of Bo and Jeff. But Lloyd has a little bit of inferiority complex. He's also shacking up with an ex-lover of Will Kane's, Helen Ramirez. Um, and he turns him down because he wants to be upgraded to like the marshal position. And Gary Cooper's like, "You're just not ready for that. I'm not going to do that." He goes to the judge. The judge starts packing up and leaves town because he's like, this town's done. He goes to the church to talk to the congregation, and Mayor Jonas Henderson is there. It's played by Thomas Mitchell, who's always great to see in a western. Um, and it has this great scene where he like pleads to the congregation, and the church turns him away, and Mayor Henderson, who at the beginning of the movie is lauding him as this great ally for this and great protector of the town, is like, let's not get into this. If we need to, this will look bad for business. People are wanting to come and do business here, and the train's going to connect us to the greater world, and we need to, if they read about this in the papers, then that's not going to be good for us. And so he goes to everybody. Everybody shuns him away. Um, and Frank Miller shows up, and they have a tussle with Frank Miller and three of his men, and then Gary Cooper.
Very classic Western shootout in the middle of town.
Yeah. I had seen it before. I definitely wanted to watch it after reading. When you read it, it really, like, the bulk of the book is about the HUAC hearings, both rounds of them. You get
Now,
nice cameos from Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon, which is fun, I guess.
wait, is Reagan
Yeah.
in the movie? I don't remember that.
No, he's in
No.
Reagan was in the first round of HUAC hearings, and then
Oh,
Nixon was in the
sorry. I thought you were
second.
talking about the movie. I was like, dang, it's the
No,
best Ronald
Reagan
Reagan
sucks.
movie.
Hey,
Yeah.
breaking news: Reagan sucks.
Oh, imagine. Wait, so hold on a quick. So you're saying that the HUAC hearings happened during the production of the movie?
Yeah. So they were going
Oh,
on during the production of the movie, and
But it
Carl
was
Fleming.
already kind of like intended to be an allegory for the
Very-
Red Scare, right?
well, see,
Yeah,
that's what I thought. I thought the whole movie was a metaphor for the HUAC hearings, but I guess just broadly, just Red Scare politics then.
Yeah, because while he was writing the script was when he was starting, like, you could tell the momentum was coming, that they were gonna
Mm.
call him in. And so, like, he's writing the script while dealing with like that panic. And he talks about how a lot of people stopped talking to him. A lot of their friends kind of turned them away. After the movie premiered and he left the studio, he ends up going to like England for a number of years and lives in London with like a bunch of other expats who have been shunned out. But yeah, like, as that allegory, it really works. Gary Cooper, he's as he goes along and asks everybody. And Gary Cooper is kind of interesting. It's not some. I mean, this isn't the main movie that I know him from. I've seen, we've seen him in. We've talked about Morocco on the podcast, and he's in that. It kind of made me want to seek out other movies of his. And at this point, he's definitely like in the like beginning the back half of his career, beginning the end of his career. He's kind of fading out as a star. Um, and this really kind of rejuvenated him. The interesting thing, I also watched Rio Bravo, which is Howard Hawks and John Wayne, because Howard Hawks and John Wayne especially hated this movie.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, he hated this movie because he got so angry that Gary Cooper, like, doesn't, like, why is he begging people to like round up a posse? Why is he should command the space. People should like be desperate to help him, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh,
All
that's
these people are
much less
weak.
smart reason. I was assuming he hated the allegorical implications of
I don't think he's smart enough to like be smart enough to catch on to
true.
that. And then Howard Hawks hated it as being just like a lazy Western that had, no propulsion. And so they made Rio Bravo, which is like the ultimate hangout movie. It's John Wayne and like Dean Martin, and they're just like hanging out in this town watching this criminal as people like come and try to break him out. But that's a good movie. I don't see the similarities with High Noon, other than the fact that like John Wayne's character doesn't have to go and beg people to like help him defend the town. But yeah, High Noon. I watched it. I got a new Kino Lorber 4K edition of it.
Nice.
Still works. I think it still plays. Gary Cooper's great. Um, Grace Kelly. They talk about her performance not being very good. She's fine. I mean, she's not given a lot to do other than don't do this, don't do this kind of thing.
Mm.
This was her like first prominent movie role,
Oh, really?
which is cool.
Hmm.
And so yeah, if you I would check out High Noon. Highly recommend.
It's great. Yep.
Good movie, yeah.
The other movie I want to talk about quickly is possibly the greatest movie of all time, and that's Miami Vice by Michael Mann.
Is this knocking Heat off its pedestal?
They're both the greatest movies of all time.
Oh,
It's it's like a shared pedestal. But Miami Vice is a whole different vibe. It like
You had seen it before, right? This is not your.
No,
first
this is my
time?
first time.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to drink a THC drink and then watch it. and
Okay.
also
Did
live.
you? Which cut did you watch though?
We watched the theatrical cut.
That's the right one to watch.
I watched
Yeah.
the director's cut, which I think must have been a mistake, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
I
have
didn't
that
love
first scene set to numb encore.
there is some good movie like soundtrack choices in the director's cut. Does it have the In the Air Tonight in the
Yeah.
theatrical? Okay. That one.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe Miami Vice. You have Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx playing the main characters. It's very much like the waves going. You just gotta like catch the wave and like ride it.
Yeah.
There's so much in it that you're just like, wait, what if you sit there and like deeply analyze it to like connect the dots, you're just gonna have a bad time. That's not how you watch this movie. You just kind of ride the vibes.
It's a vibe. Yeah.
My favorite part, Gong Li is in this movie, and it's
Oof.
just smoking hot.
Yeah.
And there's a part where like Colin Farrell's like, you want to get a drink, and she takes him on a boat, and they go from Miami to Havana. It's like,
I'm a fiend for mojitos. He said.
yeah, that's where he says I'm a fiend for mojitos. They like dance and have sex, and just like it's just like a bender weekend.
It's an
And then he
incredibly well shot sex scene too between her and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah,
Wait, is it
It's re-
Jamie Foxx or Colin
No, it's Colin Farrell.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jamie Foxx's girlfriend is Naomi Harris in this movie.
Yeah.
Who's also hot. They also have a sex scene where like, and it's really funny because it's like in the shower. It starts in the shower and then it ends up in the bed, and there's like this like bluesy jazz music where like I think Michael Mann like searched what would black people have sex to, and it was like this song, and he was just like, yeah, throw that in. It's almost just like come on, man, like could ask somebody. I mean, Jamie Foxx is a musician. You could have asked him, but instead he's
So it's
like,
right
"Eh."
around the time he did Ray too, isn't it?
Yeah. No, the greatest line is they come back from Havana, and Colin Farrell like catches up with Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx asks, "Was she making moves on you?" And he replies with, "We were making moves on each other." But it's like very quick. I'm just like, so now every time I'm just like, "Was he making moves on you? We're making moves on each other." Um, no, it's just the music, the like vibrancy of like the digital print of this is just exceptional. This one feels like much more like, that's why Heat is on film. So it definitely has like, it looks beautiful as well, but just a different texture. This is where he's starting to shift over more. And he had started it with Collateral, but is shifting over more into digital. Um and like just the texture of it, the way it catches like blues and reds and stuff and yellows, like it just captures like the street lamps and the sun in different ways. It's just really um it's just breathtaking. I gotta watch it again. I wanted to watch it again immediately after it finished, to be honest with you. But Miami Vice, I think it's on. We watched it on 4K, but a
Nice.
DVD. But I think it's on Amazon Prime. I don't know. It's so worth your time.
Do you
Um,
want to do a quick plug for Maddie's Secret as well?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I can just do all three of those.
Yeah.
Maddie's Secret. I think it's in theaters now for the most part. I know it's coming to Knoxville pretty soon. Stars John Early, but also features like Kate Berlant, Connor O'Malley, um, Claudia O'Derry. Trying to think of anybody else big. But yeah, Vanessa Bayer. For folks who listen regularly to the podcast, you probably remember Grace talking about this out of TIFF. Um, I've been excited to watch this after she saw it and was just like, this is my favorite, one of my favorite things out of the festival. I can't remember if it was her top movie or not, but I know it was
No,
one of
her
my
top was
favorites.
Mysterious Gaze the Flamingo.
Yeah, but I know this was one that was like in the top
Mhm.
5. Um, the best way to describe it is it's like, what if Douglas Sirk or Todd Haynes made a Lifetime movie? It's very much riffing off of like the Lifetime movie of the week like type story.
Mm.
Um, and it kind of it like kind of makes, it's like it's satirizing it, but in like a way that you're like, I don't think John Early hates these movies. He just kind of like, uh, d- I Adam Naiman for his review on this, directed by Todd Waynes, which is a mixture of Todd Haynes and David Wayne. I think that's also a good way to describe it. It really has like this David Wayne sense of humor to it, as also. The story is Maddie is played by John Early, is this kind of aspiring chef food person. She works at this company that's owned by Connor O'Malley that does like, it's like a test kitchen, and they shoot a bunch of like, as he describes, they shoot a bunch of content, and that is, people making recipes, things like that. Claudia O'Darity plays like their like star chef. Um, but then one night, Maddie's husband films her making a meal, and it goes viral, and they bring her on as like the second celebrity chef, and everything's going really well. But then she starts to fall, a little bit due to her mother, but then also just due to like the massive change in her job. She starts to fall into some bulimic tendencies that she's had over the course of her life. And so, really, the second half of the movie is like the push and pull between, I want to like grow in this job and like, be able to cook interesting things, but also, um, like I need to like like I need to take care of myself and work through my trauma with my mom and other things. Um, like it's extremely funny, but it's also like genuine, and like I think a lot of the second half of the movie is very like impactful. It doesn't take that stuff lightly, even though it's spouting off a lot of jokes. Um, Kate Berlant is amazing in this movie. I don't know, for folks who have seen John Early's comedy, or seen like I Think You Should Leave, like she appears in a lot of that stuff. She plays like this, it's like it'd be like the side character who's like the kind of like secondary guy, but she's like this kind of butch lesbian who um clearly like has a crush on Maddie. And like that kind of uh her affection for her, kind of like that kind of bleed over, creates a lot of funny moments. Connor O'Malley is great. He plays exactly what you'd expect out of a Connor O'Malley character, um, where he just like almost like breaks the vibe of the movie a little bit, where it's like this kind of like tender, genuine like momentum, and then he like comes in and is like calling people names and shit. It's like swearing excessively. So it's like he's really great to have because he's just doing Connor O'Malley stuff. I hope that this propels him to a rap world too, hopefully.
He just got
Um,
a 24 deal, right? Or was it
yeah.
Neon? I forget.
Like to make another
A24.
feature.
A24. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ari Aster producing.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
Mm-hmm.
the redheaded renaissance right there.
right? But no, I think it's impeccably directed. John Early, this is his first feature. And it's just incredible work. Like there's this scene kind of at the halfway point of the movie that kind of transitions from the like being a food creator, content creator to her dealing with bulimia, where it's this very like heavy edited music led sequence where she's been going to these dance classes with Kate Berlant, um, and these like movement classes, and she's like moving around, like it's very choreographed. The camera's like, cutting from like wide shots into like more intimate shots of Maddie and other people. And it all propels into her like passing out, having a cardiac arrest. But the way that she shoots it, or the way that he shoots it is, like it, like the eye, like you feel uh like you almost like you're having a heart attack as well. There was a lot of stuff that he did that I was really impressed with. So I'm excited to see kind of what he does with this hopeful success of Maddie's Secret. Because outside of being like just a great comedian and performer, he also clearly has like a knack for writing and directing because he also wrote the script. So if you can see Maddie's Secret, I really recommend it. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. I'm sure it'll be streaming or something later in the year in a couple weeks or months maybe. So whenever you can see it, I recommend it. I think it's a new talent emerging. And honestly, we should always pay respect when Connor O'Malley's in a movie.
True.
I'll toss it over to y'all though. You have a pair of we've really turned into the pro Canadian podcast here at Cinema
That's
Time.
right. We have two more Canadian cinema for you.
I've been
Or you
noticing
stand-
an increasingly Canadian presence in my media, and I can't tell if there is more Canadian media that I have access to, or if I've somehow slid into a pipeline. But
Or maybe American media is just eroding in quality so much that the Canadians are picking up the slack. I don't know.
that's right.
Um,
They are picking. These are good movies we're about to talk about.
Absolutely. Let's keep the new release train going and start with Mile End Kicks, directed by Chandler Levick, who has two movies out this year. The other one, called Roommates, was a collaboration with Happy Madison and
Yeah,
stars
starring
Adam
Adam
Sandler's daughter. That's on Netflix. I have not seen it. Michael, you saw it and did not like that one, right?
Yeah, I'm not like a Happy Madison person, and
Nor
this
am
was
I.
not.
Yeah.
This was not like one of the more, I guess, shall we say, like ambitious Happy Madison productions.
Mhm.
So anyway, I would skip that one unless like lower middle tier Happy Madison is your
Yeah,
thing.
I would like to see it, but the reason that this movie was on my radar is that Zach and I saw Chandler Levick's directorial debut, I Like Movies, at TIFF back in 2022, and I remember being so excited for that movie to get a release. I thought it was just so funny, so crowd pleasing, but also like so thoughtful and emotional. Just had a lot to say about like the cinephilia and the film industry and all that. And
I rewatched it recently, and the line that killed me was like near the beginning where his friend goes, "You don't even like masturbating. You'd rather watch Goodfellas." And he's like, "Yeah, of course I'd rather watch Goodfellas than masturbate."
I mean,
Yeah.
not outside of that's not an outrageous statement, I would say.
He says on a movie podcast.
Oh yeah.
But I Like Movies is great. It did not get the release that I was hoping for. I think that in America, the first time people were able to see it was when it showed up on Canopy, if I am remembering correctly.
Yeah, it's on Canopy and Amazon Prime.
That is definitely
Yeah.
how I watched it.
But her new movie, her new movies, have a little bit more of a wide, I don't know, distribution.
Yeah, she seems to have broken through whatever gatekeeping exists in
Right.
the industry.
But Mile End Kicks stars Barbie Ferreira as a music critic. She writes for Spin magazine / Spin website. And she, over the course of this movie is attempting to write a 33 and a third book about Alanis Morissette's album Jagged Little Pill, which she sees as not only underrated but also like an important piece of feminist art of a rare case of a woman like really being able to speak her mind in kind of a fully uncensored way. And she decides to spend the summer in Montreal to write this book. She's from Toronto, so for people like us on this podcast who enjoy Toronto, and Zach enjoys going to Montreal every year, great movie in that regard, especially.
Dude,
But,
Montreal is like one of my favorite places in the world. It's
it
so
looks
amazing.
beautiful in this movie. Yeah,
It is funny though, like a kind of central thesis of this movie is the reason why Montreal is like a hub for indie rock is that people from Toronto go to Montreal because of the lower living costs. And so they're like, there's like a Franco / Anglo kind of like undercurrent of resentment in the movie.
Right.
And-
Very
and
funny
also-
scenes of like her attempting to speak French when she's like checking out at convenience stores and things like that. And it will give
But
you
also-
the translation of what she's actually saying,
Yeah.
But
which
also-
is just like nonsense.
There's like
That
an
don't feel
excursion.
too real for me because I do
Yeah.
the same thing.
Well, you said you ride a train there. She rides a mega bus multiple times to the
Mhm.
Montreal.
Yeah.
So she's
Yeah.
really slumming it.
But the plot of the movie largely involves her not writing this book, kind of procrastinating writing this book to a stressful degree, and instead kind of becomes entwined in a love triangle between two members of this band who she like quote unquote discovers and is like writing some early promotional material for.
Well, yeah, Alison, you said that she works for Spin. I don't think she actually does though, right? Like she freelances, and at the beginning she's working at like Merge in Toronto, which is I think like a local website or something. And then she is like picking up like freelance work throughout the movie that she may or may not be getting paid for.
And there's also a point about like her having an invoice that is outstanding, like several months overdue,
and her articles keep getting taken off the website and stuff
Right.
like that because they're trying to.
Yeah.
She's been having like her boss has been having sex with her, and he kind of is like exploiting her economically and physically in that regard.
Which
And
that kind of exploitation and like industry gatekeeping was also a focus in Chandler Levick's I Like Movies, where like one of the central characters kind of reveals late in the game that like she tried to work in the film industry and kind of walked away from it because she was running into stuff like that. So it's interesting that she's kind of taking movies that are not like directly about these systemic issues and sort of like weaving them in. But
yeah, and like Montreal's kind of an interesting setting for that too, because like indie rock had its own sort of like subgenre of Me Too, wherein a lot of like predominantly like male like indie rockers were revealed to have had kind of either non-consensual or kind of like upsetting power dynamic encounters with like fans and things like that. And
who are the indie rockers in question here?
Well, I mean, there was like, I guess like the whole like there's much stuff in like emo, adjacent to indie, but then also really prominently Arcade Fire, Win Butler,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, who is like heavily Montreal associated.
Yeah, like that's kind of the reason the movie gives for why Montreal as a scene exploded, was like the success of Arcade Fire.
Yeah, and a few other bands as well, like Grimes is invoked, which is another whole issue of like a person with a power imbalance with the male lever. And like the plot of the movie is kind of hilariously, but also kind of troublingly, once she gets to Montreal, she becomes like imprinted on like the lead singer of this band that she wants to cover, and like spends most of the movie like like desperately trying to sleep with this guy who mistreats her again and again and again.
Right.
Sometimes in hilarious ways, I gotta say. Like the way
he's very funny.
The way that this dude acts, the lead singer of Bone Patrol is the name of
Bone Patrol. Did we lose Michael?
She writes like breathless coverage, like see the people from Bone Patrol, and it's just a hilarious juxtaposition. But he is awful to her, and like in a really funny way. Like there's this one time where they're trying to have sex, and he just like he basically like will not have sex with her, but is just like sitting there and like he's like, oh, okay, I get, whatever, and like then starts like talking about just stuff that's off topic, and he's like, I just am not into this, but whatever, like I don't know, and it's just I'm not describing it well at all.
He's an absolutely absurd character, and like despite how unhinged and toxic that dude is, like the songs that his band performs are genuinely very good, and like you get a sense of like why she might be kind of illogically attracted to him, because she feels like she's been touched by his music, right? And one thing that I really like with this movie is like it is about a character who really appreciates music on a deep level, and there are you get these long shots of her just like watching somebody play music, and you're just kind of like studying the way that her face changes as the song develops, and I think that's really cool.
Or even like
movies a lot.
There's an early scene in the movie when she's still working at the like Toronto publication where she gets a promo copy of Joanna Newsom's "Have One on Me," and she's sitting there in the offices alone listening to it as she's writing it, and like there's more context to that scene that we're given later on, but like it is also like it's a good scene and an impressive scene in some ways, because she's just like sitting there with this, like putting a CD into her her desktop, but it is able to kind of both like be a character moment for her, as well as like just a well observed like depiction of someone like having a reaction to a piece of music.
Yeah, great movie about just like what it is like to love music, right? In a way that I think is comparable to the way that cinephilia is handled in I Like Movies, but that is much more of like the subject of satire than what we get here.
I do think that the actual music criticism is a subject of satire in this movie, though, like or at least the music critical industry. Like we see in the offices, like you're kind of like dude bros like arguing over double nickels on the dime versus Zen Arcade or something like that, like the kind of like blogosphere, like Pitchfork adjacent,
and it's just a circle of bearded flannel men,
right? So I do think like as an industry it is critiqued, but the love for it is real. Speaking of I Love Movies, the protagonist or the actor who plays the protagonist of I Love Movies is in the band.
I was kind of hoping he would end up being a bigger role than he is, but he's got some good scenes.
He's like the bassist.
What are they? So Mile End in Montreal is somewhat of a contentious place now. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it was like heavily gentrified. I read this book called Our Lady of Mile End, which the authors lived there for long enough to kind of track for probably from what this movie is depicting, but into like modern age where it's become like extremely gentrified. Is any of that in the movie, or like does it?
100%. Well, and like part of the like French English tension is around the gentrification thing, because like the English speakers are seen as kind of the gentrifiers, right? Compared to the more like working class French. And like Mile End Kicks is actually the name of a shoe store that the singer works at. There's like scenes inside the shoe store, and there's like occasional scenes inside just like regular life. She's staying in like a hostel or like Airbnb, or it wouldn't be Airbnb, but she's
like renting out a room in this lady's flat.
Who's French speaking, and her boyfriend is French speaking, and there's like moments, especially with the boyfriend who's in the band Bone Patrol, where he is speaking in French like insults about like this like Anglo
Mhm.
girl who like doesn't, you know, she just coming to ruin our neighborhood and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
That's like
Right.
definitely
Interesting.
like the tension in the movie.
Mhm.
He
Oh,
could
another
be.
thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that if you really want to make good with the French, you have to pronounce it as Montreal.
Mm.
I can't.
So
I would be Barbie Ferrer level of bad French, maybe even worse. Like I think it seems like just a good call not to go to Montreal
maybe they
for
make
me.
fun of me after I leave a restaurant or something. But for the most part, in the 4 years or whatever that I've gone there, I've never run into people who are like
Mm.
learn. I think maybe because I'm not living there and I'm a
Mhm.
truist. There's like whatever. But they always seem people in Montreal are always extremely nice.
Mm.
One last thing I'll say about this movie before we move on to the other one, unless you have other things to say, Allison, is between this and I like movies, Chandler Levick's thing seems to be really making like daringly unlikable protagonists. I would not
Mhm.
say that like Barbie Ferrera's character is quite as like hardcore unlikable as some moments in I Like Movies can be with that protagonist, but like she is someone who routinely makes just transparently awful decisions like
Mhm.
all the time, like all the time,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all, including the last scene of the
The
movie,
last shot of the
like
movie.
oh my
Yeah.
god, like I don't feel like I can spoil that, but like the movie ends on a moment that you're like, oh, this is gonna be really sweet, and then like it veers in the last 30
Yeah.
seconds into something horrifying, and you're just like, oh no.
I think that is absolutely Chandler Levick's intention. Though I gotta say that the way that Barbie Ferrer's character looks at this awful lead singer guy and just kind of like looks past all of his flaws, she's just so smitten with him. That's how I look at Barbie Ferrer's character in this movie. Like I can't. I got such like an instant crush on this
I
woman. Like
mean,
watching her like write her Joanna Newsom review.
I mean, that's completely understandable. At the same time, you also get scenes where she's just being like an awful roommate.
Oh, she's terrible.
And
Yeah.
she keeps running out of money because like admittedly like she's owed like $4,000 by the publication that's not paying her, which is like bad, but like uh because she's running out of money, she's doing increasingly like unhinged things. She's like she'll like call her mom, and there's a scene where she's like crying on the floor yelling to her mom like, I need $1,000, mom,
Just
and
send
like
me the money.
yeah. And just like stuff that's like I just feel like it is doing a very impressive and very bold tightrope of like making a character who has a lot of the signifiers of a person that you are would normally be invited to hate in a movie, like a joke, kind of like shrill, like oh, this character is just falling apart and we're supposed to
Yeah.
judge her. And I think that the movie is very generous with her while also being very forthright about those qualities of this person. And like I would say like probably that is part of the industry critique as well, is that a
Mhm.
lot of like this indie rock scene and the kind of parasitic, maybe not parasitic, symbiotic, like online hit music criticism is kind of a product of people making these decisions over and over and over again,
Mhm.
like there's a line where one of the people in the band talks about how people from Toronto move to Montreal until basically they can't hack it in Montreal anymore, and then they move back to Toronto to like get involved in like a like a corporation or
A
something
tech
like that.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that cycle and kind of like a kind of arrested development of the scene and the coverage of the scene is really interestingly depicted in this
Mhm.
movie. And also kind of foreshadows maybe the bubble that's about to pop. 2011 is pretty late to be writing for
Mhm.
or for a
That's
website that
right.
pays you
Yeah.
$4,000.
Mhm.
Um,
That's
Yeah.
probably before all the video game companies came to Montreal. Also,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
But last thing I'll say, circling back to the unlikable protagonist thing, is I mentioned in my letterbox review that the two directors that Chandler Levick reminds me most of is like Greta Gerwig pre Barbie, and also Kelly Freeman Craig,
Mhm.
who I think in a lot of their best movies do that same thing of like, Greta Gerwig is not afraid to show Lady Bird at her worst, rudest, most obnoxious. Same is true for Haley Steinfeld's character in Edge of 17. And I just think that these are really interesting filmmakers, kind of making these like really humanistic character portraits of women, and like doing them with real cinematic style. I think like this is not like a showy movie at all, but it is like every choice that it makes like feels very, very intentional, and I think like comes together extremely well. So I was a big fan of this, and we'll be eagerly awaiting more Chandler Levick movies.
Absolutely. Now that you mention it, this movie, Mile and Kicks, is kind of like a feature-length version of that last sequence in Lady Bird where she arrives in New York and is at a party and stuff.
Totally.
Like most of the movie is like her at like parties or like doing kind of like reckless things in the city. But
absolutely.
One thing I'm noticing, the two movies that we're going to talk about both have the same production company, or one of the same production companies, which is Zapruder Films.
Mile and Kicks, by the way, executive produced by Matt Johnson, which is I guess we can go ahead and transition to our other movie. We're going to talk about Operation Avalanche by Matt Johnson.
Also produced by Vice Media. Just speaking of 2011,
our third Patreon Picks episode in a row where we're talking about a Matt Johnson joint. But I've been going down the rabbit hole and watching all movies that I can get at the library. Michael, do you want to introduce this one?
Yeah, so this is from 2016, and it's a kind of like mockumentary, found footage sort of thing, wherein basically Matt Johnson, who is playing a guy named Matt Johnson, is a guy who works for the CIA. And the first thing that we see him do for the CIA, which is like the opening kind of montage of the movie, is he's done a report on Stanley Kubrick following Dr. Strangelove to determine is Stanley Kubrick a Russian asset. Conclusion: no, he is not. But so he's Matt Johnson, as well as who is the co-lead?
He's also in Matt Johnson's movie The Craze. He's Owen Williams.
Who is playing he's playing himself as well, or a version of himself. Like most of these characters are just named after their actors. There's a guy named Josh Bowles who's like their supervisor, who is just an actor named Josh Bowles. But anyway, Matt Johnson wants to be he wants to be upwardly mobile in the CIA, and so
I think he wants to direct movies.
Yes. But the way he sees himself doing that is through the CIA for some reason.
Every mission, the solution is we should make a movie of this.
Well, it is very funny. Like, this is like basically Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, like Nirvana the band, the show, which
we got to find a way to get into the Rivoli.
well, in this case, we got to find a way to get into NASA. So his idea is, hey, CIA, there's been Russian activity that indicates that they know what's going on in our space program. And so there must be a mole in NASA. You send us into NASA under the auspices that we're making a documentary of the moonshot. Like, this is in like 1967, I think. So like as the Apollo program is like starting to get rolling. And while we are making this documentary, quote unquote, we are actually investigating who the mole is to Russia. And so what happens is they immediately find out that they start bugging everybody in NASA. And what they find out is that they overhear a phone conversation with the director of NASA to an unnamed party that basically indicates that they're not going to be able to land on the moon. Like they don't have the technology to do so. And Matt Johnson immediately reports this to the CIA. He's like, dude, this is a major problem. The Russians, the mole is going to hear that we can't go to the moon and they're going to publicize this. What do we do? And the guy's like, well, pack it up. We're going to intervene or whatever. But Matt Johnson's like,
what if we fake the moon landing?
Yeah, but Matt Johnson is like, no, wait a minute. I have a better idea. What if we make footage that is a fake moon landing, and like NASA is saying they can put the rocket up to the moon, they just can't get to the moon. So they could we just like make the video they sub out in the broadcast to show them actually landing on the moon, and everything else just goes according to plan. So the movie is about faking the moon landing And it's mostly about the ramshackle production of faking the moon landing. They sneak onto the production of 2001: A Space Odyssey to see how they do the
Incredible.
effects.
I've seen people on Letterboxd say that's like the worst part of the movie. I disagree.
Dude, it's funny. There's a scene where he gets Stanley Kubrick's autograph, and he's like Forrest Gumped into this whole footage of Stanley Kubrick. And
he's like, it's for I wouldn't bother you, but it's for my friend Matt Johnson.
Yeah. So, it is a movie about the idea that the moon landing was faked, which, like, in real life, I think is a very stupid idea. I have a coworker who tried to sell me on it one time, and like sometimes conspiracy theories, you're like, there's something here, but I don't know. I don't think there's anything there at all with the fake moon landing story.
Matt Johnson also thinks it's a stupid idea, as he says in the bonus features.
Oh, I didn't know there were bonus features. I just watched this on Canopy, but the movie itself ends up taking it kind of seriously. Like, how would you actually fake this moon landing? And like, there's a very long like portion of the movie is like just like interesting like production details about what it would take. Like, there's a lot of location scouting. They have to like crate in like all this sand to a sound stage and like just a lot of the logistics, while at the same time being kind of like paranoid of either A, the US government, who's not the CIA, is going to find out that we're doing this, or B, there's Russian people who are going to find out that we're doing this. And so there's a kind of like underlying like simmering paranoia that kind of like it's ratcheted up as the movie goes on. But a lot of it is very like Matt Johnson-y. Like, it is all like he can kind of like look at the camera, do his like kind of goofy shtick, you know. It is also like a lot of Matt Johnson stuff, in some part like a little bit of guerrilla filmmaking, because they snuck into real NASA grounds and buildings in real life in the production of this movie under the auspices that they were making a documentary. So like some of the footage they have in the NASA places is just from that little escapade. I thought this was fun.
It's a lot of fun. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, honestly, but I'll just reiterate my point from my Letterboxd review, which is like, it basically starts as a Nathan for You episode with like Matt Johnson repeatedly like just outlining these increasingly ridiculous plans.
It is like the rehearsal, but for the moon landing.
Here's how we're gonna defraud NASA by making a movie. And then it ends up becoming, you know, this is just on my mind because Michael and I are reading it, but it ends up becoming kind of like a chapter of Gravity's Rainbow, like characters feeling as though they are like, they find themselves in this like enormous machine that they can't even fathom like the scope and the power of. And I thought that it kind of handled that gradual transition from kind of a silly comedy into a more serious thriller space like really, really well. And it also culminates in what I think is like a genuinely incredible car chase.
The car chase, yeah. It's like that. It's like the Children of Men like car chase, like single take or whatever.
It's a oneer,
but it probably for like 1/10 of the budget of that movie, I would imagine.
And like this movie, I think more than anything else is like Matt Johnson just like indulging his cinephilia. Like these characters have like posters of movies like up around all their offices, and in the bonus features that I watched, Matt Johnson's office looks exactly the same pretty much. And I just kind of enjoy getting to see them like play around with cameras and see what they can do, because dude is a very ambitious filmmaker in terms of the craft side of things. I also really like the kind of Dr. Strangelove-esque black and white sequence at the beginning. And then the jump to more high definition cameras, like right after they request better cameras from NASA.
Yeah, when they get clearance to do the documentary, is like, we're gonna need better cameras, and then it's in color and boom. It's in
so good. Yeah. So yeah, if you like us, just recently watched Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, and are kind of like going back through Matt Johnson's catalog, I would definitely recommend this one. It's great.
And also go watch Nirvana the band, the show, the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Another
Absolutely.
PSA for that.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a short break, and then we'll be back talking about volcanoes and Pierce Brosnan
Kaboom.
after this. And we're back with part 2 of episode 511 of Cinematary. In this part, we'll be continuing our Patreon picks. This one comes from Tyler Chandler, a longtime patron of the show. And this is 1997's Dante's Peak. It's directed by Roger Donaldson. Stars Pierce Brosnan in the middle of his James Bond run. And it also stars Linda Hamilton. And I don't really know any of the other actors, or they don't seem like prominent actors. So I think that's all you gotta know. Volcanologist Harry Dalton comes to the sleepy town of Dante's Peak to investigate the recent rumblings of the dormant volcano the burg is named after. Before long, his worst fears are realized when a massive eruption hits, and immediately Harry, the mayor, and the townspeople find themselves fighting for their lives amid a catastrophic nightmare. Um, so this is in 1997, they were like really into volcanoes because
Yeah, I was
this
just
was
noticing this.
one of two 1997 volcano movies. You had this one, and then you had 20th Century Fox's Volcano. Also a
Mhm.
Tyler favorite as well. I'll be
Oh,
honest.
Starring
wow.
Tommy
That'll
Lee
be next
Jones,
year.
Gabby Hoffman, and
Um,
Dom Cheadle, Keith David.
yeah, Volcano's pretty fun too. It's also silly.
One of my Letterboxd friends has a negative review of Dante's Peak specifically because she says, "In this house we stand volcano."
I gotta see it then.
Universal Pictures rushed Dante's Peak into production to ensure they hit theaters first. They won, releasing in February of 1997, a full 2 months ahead of Volcano. While neither film blew critics away, Dante's Peak won the financial war, pulling in 178 million worldwide against a heavy 115 million budget. Um, uh, Roger Donaldson, known for No Way Out, and it was produced by action powerhouse Gale Ann Hurd, who did Aliens and The Terminator. The film relied heavily on large-scale practical filmmaking. It was filmed on location in Wallace, Idaho, which perfectly captured the Pacific Northwest small-town aesthetic. Before CGI took over the industry entirely, Digital Domain created massive, intricate miniature models of the town and the mountain. The terrifying ash clouds were generated using physical materials, blown across miniatures, seamlessly blended with early digital compositing. Universal heavily marketed Dante's Peak as the quote scientifically accurate option compared to the absurd quote lava in downtown LA premise of Volcano. The script heavily borrowed from historical volcanic tragedies, 1980s, or Mount St. Helens in 1980. The primary visual and narrative influence, the ending shot of the decimated, hollowed out mountain is directly modeled on St. Helens. Additionally, the USGS headquarters featured in the movie is named after David A. Johnston, the real life volcanologist who perished in the 1980 eruption. Nevado del Ruiz in 1985, the terrifying mudslides in the opening scene where a character is killed by a flying volcanic rock were directly inspired by this devastating Colombian eruption. In Mammoth Mountain in the 1980s, the political subplot where Harry Dalton wants to sound the alarm, but his boss and local businesses resist to avoid killing tourism, mirrors a real-life public relations disaster at Mammoth Mountain, California. The USGS actually noted that while the film handles the buildup brilliantly, it bends the rules during the climax. What they got right: pre-eruption signs, dead trees, sulfur in the water, and swarms of micro earthquakes, as well as the pyroclastic flows. The terrifying high-speed cloud of superheated gas and ash is a real stratovolcanic hazard. What Hollywood made up, though, was the acid lake. While crater lakes can become incredibly acidic, a lake turning into a whole dissolving battery acid in minutes is chemically impossible.
I'll
Um,
accept it though.
and then driving over lava. The film shows fluid balsamic lava. Think Hawaii, but Pacific Northwest stratovolcanoes erupt thick, slow, gray, andesite lava. So Nearly 3 decades later, Dante's Peak has evolved into a highly rewatchable comfort movie and a staple of the '90s disaster boom era. It has the structural blueprint of Jaws. It builds tension effectively. The first half plays out like a slow burn thriller where the audience knows the danger, but the town is trapped in bureaucratic denial. It makes the eventual explosion incredibly satisfying. You have earnest chemistry between Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton, and they treat the absurd material with complete sincerity. This is also after she was in Terminator 2. Ask anyone who watched this movie as a kid, and they will immediately bring up two scenes: the terrifying, intense, boiling hot spring sequence at the beginning, and Grandma Ruth jumping into the acid lays to save the family boat. It gave the film real emotional stakes and a touch of genuine body horror, but was very traumatic. And the ultimate dad movie vibe from the flannel shirts and endless pots of USGS coffee to driving a modified Suburban through a roaring river. It encapsulates the cozy, rugged, tactile aesthetic of late '90s cinema. Um,
The Suburban through the river was the most ridiculous part for
Dude,
me.
and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, don't worry, it's got a snorkel."
Don't.
So, what did everybody make of Dante's Peak?
Good.
Michael.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's
I
super
also
fun.
another antecedent that you didn't mention, but I have to imagine it was part of it was this is the big Twister vibes in this movie.
It's
Yeah.
Jaws, Twister, and Jurassic Park. Like,
Which
big Jurassic Park energy too.
Jaws and Jurassic Park are obviously better movies than this, but I think this is a significantly better movie than Twister, which I think is mid. But yeah, I just think it's fun. Like Allison, what was it that you said before we started recording? Like it's good for what it is, or something.
It's good
like
for
that.
what it is. Yeah,
And I think it's great. Like it is what it is, and it's good.
exactly
So,
what it says on the tin.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen. You can probably guess who's going to make it and who doesn't. It has just enough of like kind of silly elements to make it not like you don't have to take it super seriously, you know, because like the disasters that you mentioned, Zach, I mean, those are kind of sobering events in real life.
Mhm.
And there's a way that this movie could just be upsetting. And there's like an element of like you're watching this small town that you just spent an hour in just like get torn apart. There's a little bit of like
Yeah.
something sad there because there's like kind of sentimental scenes with Linda Hamilton, who's the mayor and who's lived there her whole life,
Mhm.
talking about why she stayed here instead of going in the big city and stuff. And there's like a twinge of tragedy watching this stuff go. But then you also have
Isn't-
like a Wilhelm scream, and you have like driving over lava and stuff like that. So
It's It's an incredible Wilhelm scream. I'm fine just spoiling it. It's it's where like the head USGS guy,
who
like
is
the-
delayed the response, right? Is
he delayed the response. The military vehicles with his other associates gets across this bridge, and then the bridge like breaks off, and they're like jump, jump, and he's like trying to like drive the car and then get out of the car to like jump over somehow, and then like the river just like picks up the thing, and he gets like
And you're-
thrown into the water. And you hear, oh my god! And then he just like he disappears, and everybody's like sad. But I'm like, that was also the funniest thing ever.
so funny. There are things in this movie that are just like great, like popcorn movie moments. Like there's the acid lake, which is great. It just really there's a lot of payoff in ways that you're just like, you know, hell yeah. Like early on, the kid's like playing in a mine shaft, and they're like, don't play in the mine shaft. And then at the end of the movie, you have to drive in the mine shaft to get away from the volcano.
It does a great job of like setting stuff up to like come back in the last act. I thought I thought that was good.
I was
Yeah,
really surprised that Pierce Brosnan having to like make his way through the mine shaft back to the car was like the climactic scene of the movie. Like I thought for sure
Yeah.
this is like the scene before they get out and really have to deal with some shit. But no, then it was just over after that. Press the
Yeah,
button.
He
reminds
was
me-
just stuck down there for 2 days, and then they were like,
Yeah.
oh, how long has this been beeping?
Yeah,
And he's fine.
Well, and then like they
Terrifying.
rescue him, then immediately roll credits. Like that's another thing I really appreciate about this movie is
Also,
like
Jurassic Park does the same thing. They get in the helicopter and fly away in credits.
a movie that knows when to roll the credits. It also reminded me of. Do you guys remember Crawl from like 6 or 7 years
Crawl
back?
is great.
Like
Crawl's
Crawl has that exact same like they get rescued from the alligator, boom, credits,
and in that one they play "See You Later, Alligator."
see you later, alligator. Yeah, so a movie that knows the exact right moment to roll credits, like where we don't have to have some kind of like sentimental like 6 months later and they're like sharing a cup of coffee or whatever. Like that's always going to be a positive.
They're enjoying the big city that's Portland,
Yeah.
which is a big city, but just kind of a funny like this is the big city. It's Portland. Yeah, it's interesting that this is like middle of Pierce Brosnan's James Bond run. He had just done GoldenEye, and this same year, Tomorrow Never Dies, which we covered during our Michelle Yeoh series, comes out.
This movie beats
And
the pants off Tomorrow Never Dies.
but the Tomorrow Never Dies has Michelle Yeoh, and that's a very winning factor.
But she's
In
not in it
90s,
as
Michelle
much as she
Yeoh.
could be. She's
Yeah, but she's really attractive.
we did talk on beforehand about this movie could have had Michelle Yeoh switched out for the Linda Hamilton
sure, why
role,
not?
and that would have been awesome.
I do agree that they have like good chemistry. Like I think it's a good pairing. Like, you know, they're both action veterans, so they're able to like you know, I feel like they're very like matched correctly. It's not one of those where like somebody's like doing a lot of heavy lifting and the other person's just kind of there.
I do find Pierce Brosnan very corny. And like maybe that's what this movie calls for. Maybe it needs to be a certain level of cheesy. Where he's like saying the line about the frog in the boiling pot and all that stuff.
Oh wow, yeah.
But like, you know, I can't help but compare it to Sam Neill's character in Jurassic Park. Rest in peace, Sam Neill. Just died this week. But in that movie, Sam Neill has kind of an arc, which is that like he hates kids and like doesn't want to start a family. And then through having to go through this survival situation with children, he learns that like he actually does enjoy like taking care of kids and like teaching them things and things like that. And this movie, Pierce Brosnan, like he's just like a lonely widower, and all he needs is to like be put in the right like trauma bonding experience with the right family.
His wife or girlfriend had a volcanic rock that went through her head. So I mean, I would have trauma too.
Yeah, he starts off hating the fact that a volcano killed his wife, and he ends with a partner.
Did you like when we fast forwarded 6 years and like he's like anger push-upping?
He's been doing that for 6 years. Yeah,
and like
also a terrible form in his push-ups too, man.
Yeah, not
you
very
slow down and go a little deeper, man.
He's just like
Yeah.
It's really
I mean,
funny.
yeah. There's no question. Jurassic Park has a good screenplay. This movie has a screenplay that is there. You know, like this is not like the movie. This is a fine screenplay. It is not a like capital F fine. Dining screenplay.
Yeah.
And the first half of the screenplay is just like people saying, "There's no way a volcano could ever go off at Dante's Peak."
I love that. Like, I love a good dramatic irony.
I love that.
It's like great. that like Simpsons thing where a guy is like, I got 1 day left before retirement. I just bought a boat called the Live Forever.
It's like Walk Hard when he's like, we're kids. We have our whole lives ahead of us, dude.
I love a good that stuff is great. Like it has exactly the right amount of that stuff.
Yeah, it has a perfect amount. I liked Pierce Brosnan saying, with all due respect, you know, to his boss before like telling him how much of an idiot he is. We watched Talladega Nights earlier this week, and Will Ferrell keeps going, with all due respect. Now I say with all due respect. I can say anything after that. He's like, you're a fucking moron, you know? So I was laughing at that, thinking about the Talladega Nights. Pierce Brosnan's good at just like doing um like just the yelling scenes. He yells in like with the British accent. It doesn't really. It's kind of strange. It's the same thing in Mamma Mia, where also like he can't sing, but like he tries
He's
really hard, and
I
I
love
find it
him in Mamma
compelling.
Mia.
He
I
sings
love him
in
in
this
Mamma
one. He
Mia.
sings "Row, row, row your boat" in
Yeah,
Oh
this one.
God.
He's
I just
auditioned
find
for Mamma
I
Mia.
find it compelling. I'm like, he's just trying so hard. Good for you, Pierce.
What did y'all think of like the kind of motley crew of like the like geologists and stuff?
I
That part
mostly
of the
just
movie.
wanted to know more about the guy who's like really wired about coffee. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Michael is frozen.
I I like them. I'm thinking.
Oh,
I
he's
like
back.
them. I like them well enough. I think they like do what they're supposed to do pretty well. It's like kind of like the movie. It's like they do what they're supposed to do pretty well. But there's, and I guess I was reading one review, and it's like, you didn't want people, you didn't want to like I like that it. The review was like, I like that it was like kind of random actors rather than like trying to fit in semi-famous people who,
Oh yeah.
earlier before we started recording, we were talking about like, you have actors who like they just have like a thing they do, and like just kind of trying to slot a bunch of those people in there. I like that it's just kind of like act like the actors are like solid. They do what they need to do. They don't take away from like the the drama of the movie or Pierce Brosnan or Linda Hamilton. They
But
just
like
kind of
again, in Jurassic Park, you have like Samuel L. Jackson and Wayne Knight in those roles, and I wouldn't say that those characters being played by good actors takes away from
It's
Jeff
Jurassic
not
Park.
that the
Goldblum.
actors in this are good. I bet those people were like not like name brand actors at the time. Like Samuel L. Jackson had
Yeah,
just had his breakout with the Spike Lee movie that I'm blanking on right now. And then Wayne
good
Knight was
looking.
barely in Seinfeld at the time that Jurassic
Yeah,
Park came out. So I don't know. I I mean, we can compare this to Jurassic Park all day, and like obviously Jurassic Park is the
Obviously, yeah.
significantly better movie. And uh but also yeah, but I don't know, like there are like times when like some of the crew like verges on annoying, like to the
yeah.
detriment of the movie. Like the dude with the coffee and he just keeps on playing
Yeah.
on the coffee. That's a bit of a
Well,
that
Allison
bit.
liked him. So,
Coffee, coffee, coffee.
I didn't say that I liked him. I just want to know more. What's that guy's deal?
Coffee. That's his deal.
Also, there's a
uh,
guy whose whole character is like he hates this one thing that NASA makes them use that ends
Oh,
up
yeah.
the thing that
like
saves
the
Pierce Brosnan
MacGuffin.
in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I like. Yeah, I like the sequence with that guy when they're up on the volcano. I love that. I love the volcano is the shark and Jaws conceit, because it's so funny because like the shark and Jaws, it's like it's a shark that you can believe that a little bit more, but like this is a
You said the shark in Jaws is the volcano, and I was not prepared for it to kill two skinny dippers at the beginning, like in true Jaws fashion.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like, and like when they're on the volcano with Pierce Brosnan and the guy who hates the NASA tool are up on and like it's like that's when it starts having like these incredible tremors that like injures the guy, and like Pierce Brosnan has to say, I'm like, I love that. It's like like the volcano is taking action against people. That's scarier than a shark. Is if a whole volcano is like, I'm taking this out on you.
I know we've
Honestly, I
already
think they could.
mentioned it, but like the fucking headshot that the volcano does at the beginning of this movie against Chris Brosnan's dead girlfriend is incredible. It's like nothing else in this car has been affected negatively. It's just like directly through the ceiling, right into her brain.
And she's like they're like spazzing out. She's like, oh, it's real. The whole opening sequence is wild, and
It's
that
nuts.
culminates it with just like his wife like spazzing out with like with just the rock in her head, and Pierce Brosnan's like, no, and he's still drunk. He's like, no. uh, the other wild part to me was when the eruption starts and they the people start driving on like the freeway and the freeway just
It just
collapses.
collapses. Yeah.
This is, I think, genuinely very cool though. Like the practical
Oh yeah.
effects in this
The
sequence
effects-
are awesome.
The effects rock.
No, it
Like this is
is.
one of the they held up.
Well, they made it. I was reading more about it, and they made it at a point where, like I mentioned in the notes, but like digital CGI, like that kind of stuff, is starting to happen. So you have a little bit of that, but the vast majority of this is done with like miniatures and things like that. Where it really like I love like the mix of like you get the CGI for the big moments, but like that tactile feel, like really like I feel like there's a lot of like, I think that's, where I elicited a lot of the enjoyment because it's just like it's the same, like, feeling I get with, like, stop motion where, like, you can feel, like, the hands moving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, all the buildings like falling apart is
Mhm.
really impressively done too.
Truly, yeah. Especially because you've been spending time in that town, so you recognize the
Mhm.
landmarks as they're falling apart. Another thing that I liked with the building falling apart is when they go up to the mountain to rescue the grandma and they're in her cabin or whatever. And then there's like the lava jump scare. Like all of a sudden, like this, the bell collapses
lava?
and the lava starts flowing in like the shark coming up on the
Also,
boat.
like, I'm confused. Later, they like circle back around and pick up the dog who's like just hanging out on this ledge and just so happens to be able
And
to
the
jump
lava's
away
coming
and tuck the
down.
lava.
That
What's
part's,
going on?
that part's because I completely just wrote off that dog. I'm like, "Well, that dog's dead."
Also,
And then
what
they're
was
like
the name of the dog? It's like Ruffy or something.
yeah, they're like, "Ruffy!" They're like, "We got one shot at this." And he's driving on the lava, and then Ruffy jumps up. You're just like, it like, I thought that dog was gone. There was a lava, like, wave going down that mountain. And we mentioned it, but the grandma dying in the acid lake is just insane because this old woman jumps out of the boat, is just getting just seared on her bottom half, and then is pulling Pierce Brosnan, Linda Hamilton, and 2 children, like, the rest of the way to get them to safety.
Well, you missed the
Um,
buildup. So like they've got to cross the acid lake, and they're going, and then the boat is starting to sink because it's being eaten by the acid, and
yeah.
then their outboard motor dies because it's been eaten up by the acid. So Pierce Brosnan wraps his hand in his coat and like starts paddling with his hand, and somehow that doesn't burn him. I'm not sure how, but they're not going to make it in time because the boat's going to go under before they do the other 20 feet to the dock, and so the lady's got to jump out and like basically she pays for her sins because the whole reason
Yeah.
they're stuck up there is because she refused to evacuate and then they had to go rescue her.
I
So
mean, everybody who dies is paying for their sins. Like the guy who does the Wilhelm scream, like he was the guy he relaying the response, and then you have the sex death equation with the couple at
Yeah.
the beginning of the movie.
yeah.
The volcano doesn't like premarital sex.
Well, the volcano needs virgins to be thrown into the mouth to appease the old god.
Well,
you know?
it also stops Linda Hamilton and Pierce Brosnan from hooking up.
That's true. That's true.
The like
It's anti-sex.
abstinence only volcano.
It's great. I love that the volcano is sentient. Yeah.
I do
Um,
think like it is funny to me to hear that there's so much stuff in this that's like basically scientifically accurate. There's a little sentence on the Wikipedia article that I found that says this movie was frequently shown in American science classrooms, which to me is wild. Like who would show this in an American science classroom when you could just like probably like have a 10-minute YouTube video about volcanoes or something, but I don't know.
In the 90s, a lot of high school teachers were not teaching.
Can you
And instead
imagine them
showing
wheeling
movies.
in the TV cart with the
With the
VCR,
we're,
and
we're
then
learning about volcanoes. They don't like sex.
they could like wrap it into the public health class.
All right, so if you run into an acid lake, wrap the coat around your hand and start paddling, or find a ornery grandma and just push her in. You lose your dog, just have the one heroic jump while lava is encompassing him.
Yeah. If there's a lava flow on the road, don't worry, you can drive on it for at least 100 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like to kind of go back to Michael, the point you were making at the beginning. This is an incredibly fun movie. Like I kind of miss you still get stuff like this today where it's just kind of like it has a silliness to it, but it's just a endlessly entertaining movie. But like just like looking at the summer so far in terms of like big, like blockbuster movies. Um I don't know. I would like just like I like these kind of like this is silly, but it's just a good time. It's like directed well enough that it doesn't like take away anything. You have these cool special effects to it. Um, I mean, it's a poster child for like adequate, but I would take
Mm.
adequate over, you know, Moana.
Well, and I
Oh
think also
God.
to that point, like a lot of movies that are made like this now are like trying to be funny on some level, either like kind of like playing up like the kind of like, oh gosh, we're in a disaster movie, sort of like
Oh, this is
self-awareness sort of thing,
yeah.
or
Like
just
this is silly.
yeah, or just like or it might just be like an actual parody. Like I think like for some reason like the film industry has lost the ability to be sincere because there's like an insecurity about like, but what if we come off as silly? And I think that like and so they have to lampshade everything. But I think what this movie shows is if you try to be sincere and it comes off silly, it doesn't matter if the movie is still fun. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
there is like the fact that this movie has almost no like actual jokes, and like what's funny that we've been talking about is kind of like just the
Crazy
the
things
kind of
happen.
straight
Yeah.
faced like way that this movie approaches its material is I think a huge benefit to the movie. And this movie would not be fun if like Pierce Brosnan was like, cracking jokes
Mm.
and stuff. Like I don't know.
Like, I think the other movies got off the rails, but the first Sharknado movie is genuinely, like, entertaining because it's very much like, "We're taking this seriously," and it's the most absurd plot you could ever think of. Um
Yeah, I think that it's almost like a dead like an unintentional deadpan is so much better than like this kind of like shticky like mugging like well that happened kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I just like have gotten to just really tired of that posture because it's everywhere now. Like just like everything has to have like a kind of like you know aw aw shucks, like we're doing tropes, guys, that kind of thing. And I don't know, I just do the tropes, do
Yeah,
them
I
sincerely.
We
or
were
just yeah.
talking off mic before starting recording that the last big disaster movies we've gotten have both been Dwayne the Rock Johnson movies, San Andreas in 2015 and Skyscraper in 2018. I actually don't know like how tongue in cheek those are or are not. Have either of y'all seen them?
I haven't seen them.
Mm. I
That's
mean,
more I
it's
just
it's Dwayne the Rock Johnson, so I'd imagine it's got to be a little tongue in cheek, but I don't know.
yeah, I mean, that's kinda like his whole thing. I think a lot of that comes from I mean, there's probably other examples, but a lot of that comes from how, um Joss Whedon, like, brought his brand of humor to, the Avengers,
Yeah.
where it's like, "We want you to take this, like, somewhat seriously, but it's also, like,
Gotta
a
make it
Norse
goofy.
god in, like, a cape flying around Manhattan."
Yeah,
Um
I think it's that, and then also like the kind of like DreamWorksification of a lot of like family media, which also had that kind of like self-aware thing. And like I will say that like when what Joss Whedon was doing was not the norm, it was a lot more charming. Like you can watch like
Mhm.
Buffy or whatever, and like
Yeah.
it being a kind of self-aware, like kind of like quippy thing is part of its charm because that was not what most like 90s teen shows were like. And the same goes for like when Shrek, landed like a atom bomb on the animation industry. Like that mode was not the default mode, and so it was a kind of fresh new thing. But now that it's like the default mode, it just is another form of like stultifying like
Mhm.
sameness.
I don't wanna blame Shrek, but it certainly didn't help.
And it happened in 2001.
That's true.
Yeah. Um Yeah. I should go back and look at like what disaster movies were made following 9/11. Um
Weren't there
the
like
only
World Trade Center? Would that count as one, or is that just because it's 9/11?
I think it's because it's 9/11.
Yeah,
The only one I can kind of think of off the top of my head is War of the Worlds by
Yeah.
Spielberg.
that
But
is a
that's
hell of a post 9/11 disaster movie.
yeah.
Also, like, if it's an alien invasion movie, can you call it a disaster movie? I know they kind of treat the
Yeah.
aliens as if it is like a natural disaster, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't
I
there
think
like a Poseidon Adventure remake or something? Am I remembering that correctly?
maybe.
Oh yeah, 2006 Poseidon.
Ooh. I think they should like I don't know. You have so much like
Oh, there's The Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
oh, that's
That
good
was a
too.
big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking like nowadays you have so much like climate anxiety about a bunch of different things that like you can milk something like that into some movie.
I
I
think that
wonder if
climate
there's just not a
anxiety is like too existentially terrifying to make like popcorn movies out of.
yeah, like I something about like a shark attack or a volcano or kind of like lightning striking events where
Yeah.
you can be scared of it, but not it doesn't feel like like an existential threat to like our life as we know it. Um
You don't want like a movie where the water has risen so high it's like taking Miami into the ocean.
I mean I
Or
mean
like a
there are movies
California
like that
wildfire or something.
there was that
And
movie
then
with
Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx have to go and deal with it. That'll be the new Miami Vice movie with Austin Butler and Michael B. Jordan.
Miami Vice 2. Miami is sinking.
they need to call Miami Vice 2 Miami twice. I'm sorry.
I don't think I don't think it's a sequel. I think it's just they're remaking it with a new
Again.
cast. Yeah, they're gonna do like a whole different thing.
Hmm.
Anyway,
But yeah, I
not to
don't
dip
think
Miami Vice is great.
yeah, I don't know, like I'm not saying that like natural disasters like hurricanes and earthquakes and volcanoes are like actually fun for people there, but they don't represent a threat to our way of life, I think. Like and so they're a little bit easy to just kind of have like a what if this happens sort of movie, whereas like climate change would like by its very nature like have to like be engulf the globe unless you were just going to do like a kind of localized thing like a wildfire movie or a
Which,
hurricane movie or something.
yeah, I can't imagine California audiences would be super jazzed about a wildfire action movie.
But I mean, that's the thing about any of these is like there are real people who,
They do
you
have
know,
one of those.
no, really?
Yeah, Joseph Kosinski made one before Top Gun Maverick with Angelina Jolie.
Oh,
She's like a
Wow. But I guess like, I mean, with any of these, there are real people who like have been, affected by these things. I mean, the San Andreas, I mean, in living memory, there's been, earthquakes in California.
yeah. I mean, I like hear you, but I'm also just like, I don't know. You don't have to. I'm just kind of like that could be something that would work though. Um,
I actually never
and
saw
like a
The
lot
Day
of
After
people don't
Tomorrow.
believe in
Is it?
climate change, so
That's true too. Yeah.
they'll be happy to watch it.
They'll watch it like, boy, thank God this will never happen. I never saw Day
Um,
After Tomorrow. Like, is it? It always seemed kind of like a goofy kind of take on climate change. Is it?
I
Is it like
remember
a
it
real?
being good, but I haven't seen it since it was new, so I'm not sure.
I
yeah, I
also
haven't
don't
seen it in
like
a long
Dennis Quaid.
time.
Like, I have an
Yeah,
allergy to Dennis Quaid.
there's Jake Gyllenhaal's in it too.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay, that's not too bad. Post Night Darko.
Yeah, Jakey G.
Hmm.
Any last thoughts on Dante's Peak?
I gotta go watch Volcano now.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch Volcano too. You said Keith David's in it?
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at Wikipedia. Like the cast is pretty star studded. But yeah, Keith David.
Hell yeah, I love Keith David.
But yeah,
Dante's Peak. Go ahead.
I recommend this. There's like a certain kind of movie that I think you can only fully appreciate in retrospect, like once its moment has passed. And I can imagine had I been the age that I am right now, but it's 1997, I may not have liked this movie very much. In the same way that I kind of look back fondly on like some rom-coms or something from the 2000s, which at the time just felt like, oh, another one of these. But then once they're gone, you're like, oh, it's nice that they made those.
Yeah, now it's a Sunday afternoon on TNT movie.
Yeah, like there's like a movie where it ages like wine. It may not be like fine wine, not like Jurassic Park wine.
It's
But
okay
like
wine.
good enough, for like a dinner, a leftover dinner, where you just need something to pair.
If you're just like, I'm just like killing an afternoon, I want to kind of like laugh at something. I want to see a lady's head get caved in by a volcanic rock while they're driving. I want to see Grandma Ruth go in the acid lake. Yeah, I don't know, this is a lot of fun. It's just kind of it's kind of just like a nice like empty calories movie.
Yeah, never change, Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler, like I mean, Tyler gives us great stuff. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody, we should talk about Ron and and the now he has a good pick this year, but like
Is that one next? Are we doing that one next?
we can, yeah. I don't think we can decide now. Do
We
we
got
want to do the circus?
Circus, and then what else is even left?
Perfect Days.
Perfect Days, yeah.
Oh man.
Also, I feel like we've gotten new patrons in the past couple of months, and if any of those people want to make a Patreon pick, now is the time.
Yeah,
we're
sure,
we're kind of killing time until our next big endeavor.
Yeah.
So
send Zach an email, zach@cinemateria.com, and give us a
emails.
Patreon pick.
I love a good email.
Also, send us an email at anything. We'll read it.
Yeah.
We haven't got an email for the show in a really long time.
Yeah, makes me sad.
The director of this movie, Roger Donaldson, also made a documentary about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Wow.
Wait, no, not a documentary, a docudrama.
What a generic like white boy name, Roger Donaldson.
Roger Donaldson. He is Australian and New Zealand. I'm not sure how that works. He was born in Australia. His son's name is Chris Donaldson, so like really keeping up the generic white boy name. He's a sprinter who was in the Olympics. He's an Olympic sprint. Oh my god!
Damn.
He's also on the. He's the coach of the cricket team for New Zealand. Wow.
What?
His son. What a power family.
His daughter made a movie with Aubrey Plaza.
India Donaldson.
Yeah.
Good one. Is that it?
I want to say it's Ingrid Goes West.
She has an A24 movie that's not yet released that has Cooper Hoffman in it.
If we're talking about India Donaldson, it is a good one. Oh yeah, The Chaperones has Cooper Hoffman.
And Alfred Molina, Paul Dano.
Yeah. Well,
quality family.
Let's do the circus next.
All right.
We can get some
time has come, Ron.
How many Chaplin movies have we covered in this? I think it would be possible to finish out his filmography at some point.
We've done Great Dictator. We've done The Kid. We've done City Lights. I don't know if we've done Modern Times.
Oh, we gotta do Modern Times sometime.
I feel like maybe we.
Is that not a Young Critics movie? I feel like that could have been.
It was.
I can't remember. It could be.
Monsieur Verdoux.
Monsieur Verdoux. We did that one. Yeah. But Grace has actually not been on a Chaplin episode.
We gotta get her on
before her time, so I hope that she can make it. She has some personal news to share, things that have been happening that good things, but that is partially why she's not on this episode. But maybe she'll be back next time to share.
She was a big. Ron gave us a few different movies to choose from, and she was her big. She really staked her flag on the circus, which is good. I remember that being a really good one. So I'm excited to revisit. It's been a long time.
Yep.
Well, thanks as always for listening to the Cinematary. Thank you to our patrons that Patreon will not allow me to see the names for. Um, but Cam, Ron Hayes, Sam Shapiro, Teresa Marsathi, Rebecca O'Malley, Michael's aunt, Tyler Chandler,
There's at least one new person too.
Nick Swan,
Nathan.
Swan. I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah, I got my phone's not letting me see. But thank you to all of our patrons. If you would like to support Cinematary and make us watch a movie next year, um, subscribe to the Patreon. $1, $5, $10, whatever you'd like to pay. The more money, the merrier.
We
If you
will
give
be
us
merrier.
yeah, if you give us $20 a month, we'll do a whole series for you. I'll say that right now. $50. If you give us $50 in a month,
Our other person is their name on Patreon is Janita. Janita. Thank you, Janita.
what's up, Janita? What's up, Janita?
Nice.
Oh, also someone named Mira TK. Is that a family member of Michael O'Malley, or is that someone else?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay, Mira
Dang.
TK, Janita, send us an email. We'll do an episode for you.
Yeah. If you send it soon, we can maybe tack it on to this series.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Until next week or next time. I don't know when we're doing it. See you later.